Not the best picture quality. Huh? Thank you. There's nobody watching. Oh, hello. Hi, everyone. Oh, hi, two people. So I know you're expecting Bilal, but unfortunately he's can't make it today. So I have taken over his live stream, and I know we are supposed to talk about full stack development, but since I am not as experienced as him, I guess we'll just use this time to um, answer any questions you guys have. Oh no, looks like we're having network problems yet again. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, so I think it's resolved itself. Uh, the reason for the network problem, we live in a very bad area when it comes to network connectivity. So sometimes our connection just dips and comes back. Yeah. Okay, so since Bilal is not able to make it today, I figured that for the next few minutes, I'll take over his stream and I'll just answer any questions that you guys might have, either when it comes to IT varsity, the courses itself, or whatever I can answer on development. If you have any questions about app development or any other form of development, but we can, you guys hear me? I know I have a kind of a soft voice. I'm using an external mic. Just let me know if you're having any problems hearing my voice. Hmm. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, I'll try adjusting it. Um, Sound is not clear. Let's have a look. Okay. Is this any better with the in terms of the audio? Hmm. Cool. Okay, so does anybody have any questions that I can answer? By the way, if you've noticed that IT Varsity on the social channels has been featuring students. If you'd like to be featured as well, there is a link on the dashboard or an email address to just send a little bit about yourself, and then we will we'll create a video for you actually and feature you with some of your best projects. And by the way, just so anybody who's been submitting their projects, I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to mark those projects. Some of you have put in so much effort, and it's just it always the best part about my day is going through everybody's assignments and marking them. I love it when you see that you've put in extra effort into into the assignments and go beyond what we've actually taught you. Okay, code compilers. Okay, so Christopher had a question. Could you please explain the use of code compilers and compiling? Okay, so again, like I said, I'm not as experienced as Bilal, who is my dad, but from what I know about compilers, is that different applications or different operating systems need the code to be packaged in a certain way. For example, um, for a Android phone, let's say for example, it needs to be compiled as an APK. So they require that the code needs to be compiled, needs to be packaged in a way that Android is happy with it. I don't know if that makes sense, but um, that question I'll definitely get Bilal to answer it in more detail. Okay, so let's see. The audio is a bit funny again. Okay, so let's see if that's any better. So yeah, that's basically what I know about code compiling. Like for example, we will get into compiling code in a certain way when we get, I think it's project 4 or project 5, where you learn to actually take your HTML5 app that you've built so far and package it for Android, iOS, and Windows devices. So that's just one example of compiling, and in that case, we use something called Cordova or PhoneGap. Cool. So I hope that answers your question better. Is anything else I can answer? Okay, so it's good. I see the audio is you're finding it a little bit better. Awesome, awesome. Okay, okay. So I see the number of students is fluctuating. It goes up to about 6 and then drops. Mhm. API files. Okay. Yeah, there's many free APIs. In fact, there's so many. This majority of them are open source APIs that you can get from services like GitHub, or people put out frameworks. In fact, I mentioned before we'll be compiling our apps using Cordova, PhoneGap. That is actually a set of APIs that's completely free to use. So yeah, some APIs you will need to pay for, but you know what, those are extremely rare, and they're very specialized. So I put it that way. Most of them are open source and protected by I think it's the MIT Protective Open Source Commons or something like that. But yeah, you can use them for free. Okay, so Hafsa had a question. What does front end developer mean? Okay, that's actually something that was supposed to be discussed today when we are discussing full stack development. So I'll give you the very short version of it. A back end developer will be the person who works with the databases and scripts, and he makes sure that everything in the background of the app, things that the user doesn't see, works well. For example, if you use WhatsApp, when you send a message, there's a lot of processes happening in the background. Firstly, your message is being encrypted. Now, that's something that you don't see, but it's being encrypted and it's being sent to WhatsApp servers. From there, it's being routed to the number that you're trying to send it to. Now, a front end developer is a very exciting job. They do everything that has to do with design. So when you look at an app and you notice that it looks very nice, it has a beautiful interface, there's logos and colors. That's what a front end developer does. Front end development, um, it also, I think it's a field of front end development called UX design, user experience design. So that has not so much to do with designing as in colors or things like that, but more as in terms of the flow a user takes to get from one point to another. How is their experience? Is it a confusing experience? Is it a simple experience? And of course, in most cases, you want it to be as simple as possible. So that's what a front end developer does. They make sure that when the user looks at your app, it must be inviting, it must look good, and it must be easy for them to use. In fact, that's a huge market, because any app out there needs front end developers. So it's really good. And if you prefer working uh, with more creative work, then definitely front end development is an excellent choice. I hope I answered that question. I think I rambled on a little bit there, but I hope I answered your question better. Okay, and just out of curiosity for everybody who's online, just I would like to know which assignments, which projects are you on right now, and is there anything on the system or the projects itself that you are having difficulties with? You need me to answer any questions with the course itself? Is anybody stuck, or anybody needs any additional support? By the way, like I've mentioned, so far everyone is just excelling excellently with the assignment submissions. I'm so happy with the submissions from you guys. Okay, here's one question just from my side. I get this question a lot from students who want to know what's next in the entrepreneur course. Now, until now, we've been working with mostly front end development from project one all the way, I think, until project five, which was a recipe book. It's all front end. We worked with the user experience, we work with design, and the back end of the app. There's not much going on. There's no logic, as I say, in the back. But that's going to change. We are adding in something very exciting. We're adding in the JavaScript modules, which are almost ready for you guys, as well as PHP modules, which will work with databases and submitting data to a database and then displaying that data. Um, so it's definitely gonna get a lot harder than what it is currently, because now we're just doing HTML and CSS, but don't let that discourage you, because harder doesn't mean something bad here. It just means that it's going to be a little bit more exciting. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions I can help with? Yeah. On the website. Sorry, I'm just trying to understand the question. We got a question from Tabo. When I file this. Okay, so I think what you're asking is, once you've made the website, you want to give it you want to link to that website. For example, www.itvarsity.org, uh, just as an example. So is that what you're asking? JavaScript is a lot more complicated. Just a comment from Christopher. Um, it is a lot more complicated because JavaScript is see, HTML is more what you call static. Once you add things in, they don't change. They just stay that way. Now JavaScript is, I wouldn't say it's hard. I say it's very exciting, because now you get to add user inputs into your app. For example, you have functions, you have things like loops and methods that you can work with to create a whole host of amazing interactions on your website. Okay, so that is what. So coming back to Tabo's question. Okay, so we actually covered this in the webtrepreneur part of the course. Now, when you say converting to a link, you don't actually convert to a link. Let me explain like this. So in your website or in your browser, if you're working with an HTML file that is on your desktop, for example, you'll see on the address bar, it'll say C uses desktop index.html. That is a link. Now, that is a link to the HTML file that's living on your computer. Now, if you want to have www.mywebsite.com, what you would need is a server. So instead of finding the HTML file on your computer, the the browser will find it on the server. So there's two things you need to do actually. Um, Number one is you need a domain. Now, a domain is what I've explained, like something.com or something.net. YouTube.com is a domain name that you register and it belongs to you. It's unique. No two websites can have the same domain. After that, you need a server. Now, a server is just a hard drive that lives in a company's warehouse, whichever company you go with, and that server just keeps all of your website files. Okay. So with those two things, when you have a domain and you have a server, then you put your website onto the server. That's how you get a link to your website. I hope that explains it. I know it's not the best explanation, but we do cover that. We will cover that a little bit later on when you actually start with the WordPress version of the section of the course. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions, I think we'll end the stream around here. It's a bit of a shorter stream than normal. Unfortunately, Bilal couldn't make it, but I will definitely get him to send out a message explaining why he couldn't make it today. But it's been a lovely experience talking to you guys. I know a lot of you guys. I talk to you a lot, and we actually communicate back and forth. But I don't think you've ever spoken face to face before. So it was definitely good to meet you guys, and hopefully next week we'll have a much better live stream. we'll catch you then. Okay, thank you so much for logging in, and also good luck with your course. And don't forget to let me know or let one of my teammates know if you need any assistance at all. Cool. See you soon, guys.